Code Siphon Testing Part 2. I said that it could be good in Kit and it could be good in Nasir, but what am I doing here with Chaos Theory? Well, I just had an incredible idea. Well, Code Siphon clearly harks back to the core set card account Siphon, being both at 4 influence and 0 credits and requiring you to take a tag. 0 credit play cost rather. Why don't you play both of them in the same deck, along with Anarch's version of Siphon? Well, it doesn't really siphon anything, but it's called Stim Hack. It's also a 0 cost run event. So I have basically of my 40 cards, 7 of them are these powerful run events that greatly swing the tempo of the game in your favor. And they cost 0 credits to play, all of them. Genius? Stroke of genius? Or absolutely crazy, because you'll be flooded with both tags and brain damage? Well, we'll see. My breaker suite is the super efficient, well, this is as efficient as you can get, Torch, Garrote, and Cerberus Lady, with Scavengers and Clone Ships to back the Cerberus up. My opening hand is basically, you can't ask for any much better than this against Cerebral Imaging. You have 2 of your tutors, self-modifying codes. You have the best opening that you can ever ask for, Diesel into Show Gamble. And plus crit against Cerebral Imaging. Perfect. So, I open with the standard opening, Diesel into Gamble. Do I gamble? Yes, I gamble. Then, I attempt to run HQ knowing he won't rest the ice, simply because Cerebral Imaging tends to play big ice, and he didn't mulligan, so there's probably no agendas in hand. But I'm still running HQ because I want to scout out exactly what the type of deck that he's playing. I need to know whether I'm fighting against a Scorched Earth variant so that I'll know whether to pitch the plus crit or not. All I see is IQ and Baltic Label, so no luck there. And he immediately sets up a scoring remote. This is very unusual out of Cerebral Imaging. It has my head scratching. So since I quality time into a Stim Hack, I might as well use it in combo with my self-modifying code. And this is the perfect time to Stim Hack because the chance of it hitting a valuable card goes down because you quality time so many random cards. So he shows me a code gate. I bring out my torch and find an Adonis campaign. Ugh, useless. I could trash it here, but that would leave me very vulnerable in credits, so I choose not to. That will turn out to be a big mistake. Yes, and I trash all the useless cards, including Net Shield. Net Shield is a protection against Jinteki PE simply because this deck doesn't run Levi AR Lab Access. Against attrition net damage, my 40 card deck stands no chance. Alright, yeah. Now, passing the turn back to him, he does rest the Adonis campaign. And yeah, very curious. Usually you don't see Adonis campaign run in Cerebral Imaging. In fact, you don't see any remotes being built at all. The only remote you usually see from Cerebral Imaging is Jackson Howard. So yeah, this definitely has me wondering what's up with his deck. Is it a standard Seesaw Scorched Earth deck? Because you usually just run the level clearances, hedge fund, restructure. That's more than good enough. I set up my SMC and I go to trash his Adonis. Even though it's a strength 5 IQ, I can easily break it for 2 credits with Torch, and that's why Torch is great. Passing the turn back to him. He gets rich and solidifies his remote and attempts to score behind it. I'm on 0 credits, there's no way I can contest this unless I find a Stim Hack. Well, I do find a Stim Hack. Very tempting to run here, but if he reses anything nasty, I won't be able to break it. The worst thing that he could res is probably an Ichi at this point, because my only solution for sentries is Garrote, costing 7 to bring out, plus 2 from the SMC. That's all 9 Stim Hack credits. There are not enough credits left in my credit pool to break the subroutines of Ichi. I will lose my Torch. That is highly undesirable. So instead, I Stim Hack onto Archives, where I can be very sure there's no Ichi lying there, and I tutor the Magnum Opus, which I then use on my next turn to gain credits. Turns out it is an agenda. He took advantage of my scoring window being on 0 credits, which is a mistake. I shouldn't bring myself 0 credits, but I had to trash his Adonis. And yeah, gain 8. Not much else to say there. Now here he does something interesting. He plays Celebrity Gift and shows me a Swordsman. So that's 4 influence accounted for. Is he really running Scorched Earth? I don't think I need to keep the plus crit. And I'm not floating any tags yet anyway. I haven't found my account siphon or code siphon just yet. So yeah, I'm very tempted to run his HQ at this point. Should I? If I hit an Ichi, I'm screwed, so I chose not to. Yes, this is one of the weaknesses of this deck. You cannot afford to face check ice once you have programs on the board, because your only solution to Ichi, besides clicking through it, is tutoring a Garrote, which is highly expensive. Against Jinteki Ice, it's not that bad. I have Mimic available to deal with it, but otherwise, if it's a Grim even, I'll lose my 9 cost Torch, and that is something you cannot afford to drop when playing this deck. Alright, so knowing that he has 2 Biotic Labors and an Efficiency Committee and a Vitruvius in hand, I'm very sure his next move will be to fast advance a Vitruvius, or the Efficiency Committee if he's playing the Sensen shipment from Sensen variant. That would be a wise thing to do because he has shown me his hand. I know that it's flooded with agendas. If he does not attempt to score one of them, I'm going for his HQ, no questions asked. With 11 credits, I'm confident enough that I can run HQ without worrying about his ice. So here what does he do? He installs and single advances something. Well, it probably is the Efficiency Committee. It's time to go get it. So what's the best way to do this? Again, probably the worst ice that I have to be prepared for are the big Heimdalls and Ichi, both 1.0 and 2.0. Sure enough, it was an Ichi. So glad I didn't Steam Hack use my second Steam Hack on that. So here I have the option of bringing up the Garrote, but that will leave me with insufficient credits to get through the IQ. So I click through the Ichi, allow him to trace. He traced for all his credits. Very weird move here. I'm not sure why he would do this. Unless he's trying to tag me, but bringing himself down to 0 credits, that's pretty crazy. Anyway, I do spend the 10 credits to beat the trace, and then score the Efficiency Committee. And that is where I made my second big mistake. I should have allowed the trace to fire. What was I actually worried about? Am I worried about Scorch Turf? No, because he just spent all his credits. There's no way he can Scorch me in the same turn. Well, he could right here. But now that he's shown me his Sweeps week in addition to Celebrity Gift and Sportsman, I should be fairly confident he's not running any form of flatline. So yeah, perhaps I should have just let the trace run. In any case, no matter, I stole the Efficiency Committee from him, and now I'm going to gain credits with Magnum Opus. In the meantime, he can gain all the credits he wants with subliminal messaging. Doesn't matter because I'm looking quite good now. I have my Barrier Breaker in hand. My Garrote is in my heap, ready to be tutored anytime. So now my main priority is to gain enough credits to safely tutor Garrote during a run when required. I do draw into a Code Siphon and I realize it's completely useless. I don't need Code Siphon when the last component, which is my Barrier Breaker, is both in my hand and in my stack. I run 2 copies, and the one in my stack can be tutored with SMC, which is already on the board, so no need for Code Siphon. So here, I do play the plus crit out of sheer fear. I don't know why I did that. I should be very confident that he's not playing Scorched Earth, and this only serves as a tempo hit against me. And in the meantime, he does score Aguila Hands. That is very bad news for me. Time to siphon him, since I drew into it. This should slow him down greatly, at least slow down the train of biotics. Alright, he shows a barrier. Bring out the lady, and suck his cash dry, down to 2 credits. Unfortunately, this is not going to be very effective because, yes, he scored Gila Hands, which means he can easily recover from a siphon. So that's the unfortunate thing here. He did manage to get the Gila Hands out, which is pretty huge for him. And yeah, after one turn, he's up to 7 credits, which is enough to fast advance another agenda. Nothing I can do about that. So now the only thing I can do is to keep hitting his R&D. I have 3 R&D pressure cards in my deck, 1 indexing and 2 R&D interfaces. Both of the interfaces are stuck at the bottom of my deck, and the indexing was trashed or discarded earlier on, which again, huge pity. So I run his HQ, see nothing much. Yeah, it's not going very well for me at this point. I do need more agendas. I do have a lock on him against his R&D, but I definitely need to draw my cards faster. Yeah, and that goes back to the problem of being stuck with a 3 card hand size. This is really constraining me a lot. I'm forced to play out my clone chips whenever I draw them because I theoretically could run out of recursion for green Cerberus, in which case I'm in trouble. Since he's running next dice, I need to be really conservative with my Cerberus tokens because they can easily be expended. I access the Mother Goddess, and that only makes things worse. Mother Goddess will count as a next ice when res, and that will bump up the number of subroutines on next bronze to 3 and above. So that's really bad news for me. Yep, it's not looking good at all. Thankfully he ices up HQ instead of R&D here. R&D is my main route to victory at this point. I still haven't found my R&D interface. This is getting really annoying. I'm drawing 2 cards every turn and spending 1 click to make a run. And yeah, nothing much is going in my way. So yeah, I'm forced to spend my last click to scavenge my green Cerberus. And I finally decide to pitch the plus creep, probably knowing that he's not running Scorched Earth after all. So he's recovering nicely in terms of credits. And I draw into a Stim Hack, which is used. Okay, finally, R&D interface. Now I run. Oh wait, not enough credits. I could do a Stim Hack run here. In retrospect, I should have. I should be R&D locking him. And at this point, brain damage doesn't even matter anymore. I should have performed the Stim Hack run to see 2 cards at this point. So turn passes over to him. I have my entire rig assembled, and he gains 10 credits. Wow. Yep, that just happened. So the only thing I can do is to click Magnum twice every turn and make a run. He found his next silver, 3rd copy. So that costs 2 green Cerberus tokens to break, plus 1 for Eli. This is definitely not sustainable. I need to find the alternative solution. Do I have one in my deck? I sure do. You'll see it soon. In the meantime, my accessors still yield nothing. This is getting annoying. Unfortunately, he managed to get a 3-2 agenda slip by, and he biotics it out. It's a Vitruvius, so now he's on match point. This is terrible. I would love to sweep his hand for cards. Unfortunately, this deck doesn't run legwork. The only form of HQ pressure becomes Siphon. And I could Siphon him right here, and really I should have, but I know it's a Mother Goddess and I really don't want to trigger it. So instead, I set up my long-term barrier breaking solution in the form of Inti. Now, Inti gets past next silvers very cheaply, or, well, it's not cheap, but it gets past it without the need to expend green Cerberus tokens, and that's pretty important. I'll save green Cerberus for Eli instead, but that means I need more memory units. Too bad, time ran out. He had his last Baltic into Vitruvius, and he scores it for the win. So, all in all, my deck is way too slow, and I need to definitely revise my breaker choices. Green Cerberus is sustainable on its own, but I think I need to include the Viral Lab access, because having a rig with both Inti and Green Cerberus up at the same time is not a good idea. It requires way too much MU, and I don't have enough time to set up MU for this deck. I'm also not comfortable with the fact that face checking against sentries is incredibly hard for this deck because Garrote costs so much to bring out. Even a Stim Hack with SMC run is not a guaranteed. It's not something that you can safely do, even with Garrote in your heap and your stack, because if it turns out to be an archer, you have to pay 15 credits, including the install, something like that, 17 credits I believe, to get past the archer. That's ridiculous. So yeah, problematic deck, but once it's set up, it's nigh unstoppable, I must admit. The R&D lock cannot be circumvented. The question is, can you even get to that point? This game, I didn't manage to. Granted, he got lucky. He saw less than half of his cards, but managed to find all 3 Biotic Neighbors and Vitruviuses within that time. Nothing to say for that. But otherwise, this deck is the reason why I don't really like Shaper. Not enough early pressure. By the time you are completely set up and good to go, it's game over. Thanks for watching Happy Net Running. Goodbye.